The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets in the dimly lit ballroom of the Grand Meridian Hotel in downtown Chicago, casting harsh shadows over the clusters of former classmates nursing their drinks and dredging up old wounds disguised as jokes. Laughter erupted from the corner table where Brad Harlan, still broad-shouldered and smug from his high school quarterback days, slammed his fist down and bellowed, "Remember Alex? That scrawny gay kid who thought he could waltz into prom with another guy? Bet he's flipping burgers in some podunk town, still crying over his big dreams that went nowhere." The group howled, glasses clinking in malicious toast, oblivious to the doors swinging open behind them, until the room fell silent as Alexander Voss stepped in, not as the broken boy they remembered, but as the man who now owned the company that paid half their salaries. Alex's heart pounded like a war drum as he scanned the room, the air thick with the scent of cheap cologne and stale regret. 10 years had carved him into something sharper, his once frail frame now honed by relentless gym sessions and boardroom battles, dressed in a tailored navy suit that whispered power rather than screamed it. He spotted them immediately, the old pack, led by Brad, whose face twisted from triumph to confusion in a split second. But Alex didn't flinch. He smiled, that quiet, knowing curve of lips that hid the storm brewing inside. This wasn't revenge, not exactly. It was reclamation, a chance to rewrite the narrative they'd scripted for him in the locker rooms and hallways of Lincoln High. As he wove through the crowd, murmurs rippled like aftershocks. "Is that? No way," someone whispered. Alex's mind flashed back to that prom night, the slurs scrawled on his locker the next day, the way his parents had whispered about fixing him over dinner. He'd fled to New York after graduation, scraping by on scholarships and side gigs, building Voss Ventures from a laptop in a cramped Brooklyn apartment into a tech empire that revolutionized urban sustainability apps. And now, through a hostile takeover he'd orchestrated in shadows, his company had swallowed Harlan Dynamics whole, the very firm where Brad strutted as VP, and where Jenna, the former cheer captain who'd once accidentally spilled punch on his date, now handled PR. He reached the bar, ordering a neat scotch with steady hands, though his pulse betrayed the facade. The hook of the evening wasn't just his entrance. It was the speech he was about to give, the one that would shatter their illusions. But before he could signal the MC, a voice cut through the din, soft, tentative, achingly familiar. "Alex? Alex Voss." He turned, and there she was, Mia Reyes, the quiet artist from art class who'd sketched his portrait in secret, the one who'd slipped him notes of encouragement when the world turned vicious. Her dark eyes widened, curls framing a face softened by time, but still lit with that fierce empathy. "God, it's really you." Mia's hug caught him off guard, warm and uncalculated, pulling him into a whirl of jasmine and old memories. "I can't believe it," she said, pulling back, her gaze tracing his features like she was memorizing a lost sketch. "You look incredible. What are you doing here?" Alex chuckled, low and genuine, the first real crack in his armor. "Turning the tables, I guess. And you? Still painting the world in colors they don't deserve." She laughed, a sound like sunlight breaking clouds, but her eyes held shadows. Divorce papers fresh in her bag, a custody battle looming over her trans son, Eli, who was fighting his own schoolyard demons back home in Evanston. They talked, words tumbling like forgotten friends reuniting at a crossroads. Mia confessed the cracks in her perfect life, the husband who'd bailed when Eli came out, the family who'd chosen silence over support. Alex shared fragments of his ascent, the isolation of success, the parade of dates that fizzled under the weight of his secrets, the gnawing ache for something real amid the glass towers. But as the night deepened, Brad's table grew bolder, their voices carrying like poison darts. "Look at Voss, playing dress-up. Thinks a suit makes him straight." Brad sneered, loud enough for heads to turn. Mia's hand tightened on Alex's arm, but he shook his head, steeling himself. The MC called his name then, and the room hushed as he ascended the podium, microphone heavy in his grip. "Ladies and gentlemen," Alex began, voice steady as Lake Michigan in winter, "tonight isn't about nostalgia. It's about evolution." He paused, letting the words sink in, eyes locking on Brad's paling face. 10 years ago, I was the punchline here, the gay failure who dared to dream beyond your narrow lanes. You mocked my love, my ambitions, my very existence. But dreams don't die. They adapt, they conquer. Gasps rippled as he revealed the merger, the shares he'd quietly amassed, the dawn of Voss Harlan Innovations. Effective midnight, I'm not just a guest. I'm your new owner. The fallout was immediate. Brad's chair scraping back, Jenna's wineglass slipping from numb fingers. But amid the chaos, Mia's smile bloomed, a beacon in the storm. As the crowd dispersed into frantic whispers, she leaned close. That was brave, Alex. But bravery alone doesn't heal. What's next for the king of the castle? He met her gaze, the old spark flickering to life. Maybe. Us. If you're willing to see past the crown. Their walk through the hotel gardens that night was a tentative bridge over chasms of time. Chicago's wind whipped off the lake, carrying the distant hum of traffic like a city's heartbeat. Mia spoke of Eli, her voice cracking on the boy's latest school suspension for wearing a skirt, the teacher's concerns laced with bigotry. He's 8, Alex. 8. And already they want to break him. Alex stopped under a lamppost, the golden light haloing her face. They tried with me, but look what rose from the ashes. He hesitated, then added softly, let me help. Not as the boss, as the friend who never forgot your sketches. Back in his suite, alone with the city's skyline mocking his solitude, Alex pored over emails from his team, congratulations mixed with warnings about resistance from Harlan's old guard. Sleep evaded him, haunted by ghosts. His first love, Tyler, the boy who'd vanished after a family intervention, leaving Alex with a hollow chest and a vow to armor up. Dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving, as his phone buzzed with Mia's text. Coffee? Eli would love to meet a real-life superhero. He smiled, fingers flying in reply, unaware that Brad was already plotting in the shadows, rallying allies with whispers of sabotage. The weeks blurred into a frenzy of integration meetings at the sleek Voss headquarters overlooking the loop. Alex's office, all glass and steel, felt less like a throne and more like a fishbowl, every decision scrutinized. Brad, demoted but defiant, lurked in the halls, his emails laced with veiled threats. Some things don't change, Voss. You're still playing pretend. But Alex pressed on, implementing diversity initiatives that hit like thunderbolts. Mandatory ally training, Pride Month expansions, scholarships for LGBTQ youth. Mia became his quiet anchor, their lunches stretching into afternoons where she'd sketch him mid-rant, capturing the furrow in his brow, the fire in his eyes. Eli entered their orbit like a whirlwind, all freckles and fearless questions, his skirt swirling as he bounded into the office one Saturday. Mom says you're the guy who bought the mean people's company. Are you a wizard? Alex knelt, heart twisting at the boy's wide-eyed trust. Nah, kiddo. Just someone who got tired of hiding. They built forts from conference chairs, Eli's laughter echoing off the walls. But beneath it, Alex saw the scars, Mia's weary glances at the clock, counting down to court dates. When Eli asked about his dad's, Alex faltered, then shared a sanitized tale of his prom disaster, turning pain into fable. Love wins when you fight for it, he said, and Mia's hand found his under the table, electric and unspoken. Yet cracks spiderwebbed through the facade. Jenna, cornered in a hallway, cornered Alex with tears and apologies that rang hollow. I was young, stupid. Brad pressured me. He nodded, but the forgiveness stuck in his throat like glass. That night, over takeout in Mia's cozy apartment, she probed gently. You're carrying it all, aren't you? The company, the past, us. Us. The word hung, pregnant with possibility. Alex set down his chopsticks, voice raw. I built walls so high, Mia, I forgot how to climb down. She reached across, fingers lacing with his. Then let's build a door instead. Their first real date was a risk, a quiet gallery opening in Pilsen, walls alive with queer artists' visions of fractured identities. Mia's arm looped through his, Eli at home with a sitter, the night theirs alone. They wandered, her commentary weaving stories into strokes of paint, his silences filled with awe. But as they stepped into the chilly alley for air, Brad's shadow loomed. Drunk, flanked by two cronies from the reunion. Fancy seeing you here, Voss. Slumming it with the divorcee and her freak kid. The slur landed like a slap, Mia stiffening beside him. Alex's vision tunneled, old rage surging, but he stepped forward, calm as a blade. Walk away, Brad, or tomorrow's headlines will be about more than stocks. The confrontation diffused in curses and retreat, but the poison lingered. Back home, Mia paced, fury etching lines on her face. He's poison, Alex. And if he's gunning for you. He pulled her close, the embrace fierce. Then we fight together. That night, as rain lashed the windows, their kiss ignited, slow, searching, a dam breaking after years of drought. It was tenderness wrapped in urgency, lips brushing like confessions, hands mapping scars both seen and unseen. No rush to bedsheets, just the quiet promise of more, whispered against skin. But dawn brought betrayal's bite. Monday's board meeting erupted, leaked memos painting Alex as a diversity tyrant, anonymous tips to investors questioning his stability. Brad's handiwork, clear as day. Alex's team rallied, but doubt gnawed. A key client pulled out, citing cultural misalignment. Mia arrived unannounced, Eli in tow with crayons and determination. We drew you armor, the boy announced, unfurling a paper shield emblazoned with rainbows and robots. Laughter broke the tension, but as Eli napped, Mia's eyes darkened. This isn't just business, Alex. It's war on who we are. He nodded, resolve hardening. That afternoon, he uncovered the mole, Jenna, coerced by Brad's threats to her job. Confronting her in the break room, tears streamed as she confessed. He said he'd ruin me if I didn't. But you've changed everything here. Forgiveness came hard, but Alex offered a lifeline. Therapy stipends, a transfer to his direct team. Choose sides, Jenna. Not out of fear. She chose light, her testimony the dagger in Brad's plot. The climax brewed in the executive retreat at a Lake Geneva lodge, all pine-scented air and forced team building. Brad cornered Alex by the fire pit, flames dancing like accusations. You think you win? I'll bury you. Tell the world about your weaknesses, that you're just a lonely queer chasing skirts to fit in. The words clawed deep, echoing Tyler's ghost, the ex who'd called him too broken before ghosting. Alex's fists clenched, but Mia's voice sliced through from the shadows. Enough. She stepped forward, Eli's drawing clutched like a talisman. You're the failure, Brad, not for being straight, but for being small. The room assembled, drawn by the standoff, as Alex laid bare the sabotage, Jenna's corroboration sealing the coffin. Brad's empire crumbled in real time. Resignation demanded, shares frozen. But in the hush, Alex turned to Mia, voice breaking. I almost lost this. Us, because I forgot to trust. She cupped his face, Eli tugging at her hem. You didn't. We're your strength now. Months later, at the company Pride launch, confetti rained like redemption. Eli danced in his skirt amid executives and rainbow pins. Mia's hand in Alex's as they unveiled the Voss Reyes Scholarship for Queer Youth. Brad, a footnote, rebuilding in obscurity. Alex, once the mocked boy, stood tall, not alone, but woven into a tapestry of love's quiet victories, where misunderstandings yielded to understanding, prejudices to pride. The autumn leaves crunched underfoot as Alex and Mia strolled through Grant Park, Eli darting ahead to chase pigeons with unbridled glee. Chicago's skyline loomed like a benevolent giant, the air crisp with the promise of change. It had been 3 months since the retreat, since Brad's exit had rippled through Harlan dynamics like a stone in still water, forcing uncomfortable truths to surface. Alex's days were a whirlwind of strategy sessions and sensitivity trainings, but these stolen moments, simple, sun-dappled, grounded him, reminding him why he'd fought so hard. You're quiet today, Mia said, nudging his shoulder, her scarf fluttering like a flag of truce. Alex squeezed her hand, the warmth seeping through gloves. Just thinking about Tyler. Anniversary of his last letter came up on my calendar. The words hung heavy, a rare vulnerability slipping out. Tyler, the boy from community college, with laugh lines that crinkled like origami and dreams of Broadway that matched Alex's tech visions. They'd built a fragile world in stolen weekends, until Tyler's ultra-conservative family issued an ultimatum: conversion therapy or disownment. He'd chosen exile, leaving Alex with a shoebox of Polaroids and a heart armored in code. Mia stopped, turning to face him, her brown eyes pools of compassion. You carry him like a shadow, don't you? Not as regret, but as a lesson. Alex nodded, throat tight. He taught me love isn't possession. It's the courage to let go when it hurts most. Eli bounded back, cheeks flushed. Mom, Alex, the birds are plotting a revolution. They laughed, the sound chasing shadows, but as they picnicked on the grass, Alex's phone vibrated. A text from an unknown number. We need to talk. About Tyler. L. The L haunted him through dinner that night. Eli's chatter about school filling the gaps. Mia noticed, of course, her artist's eye missing nothing. Over herbal tea in her kitchen, yellow light pooling like honey, she pressed gently. Whoever it is, don't face it alone. Alex traced the rim of his mug, steam curling like unanswered questions. It's probably nothing. Spam from the past. But sleep betrayed him, dreams weaving Tyler's face with Brad's sneer, waking him in sweats at 3 a.m. Morning brought clarity, or so he thought. The sender was Lucas Hale, Tyler's younger brother, now a journalist in Milwaukee. They met at a nondescript diner on the south side. Vinyl booths cracked like old skin, coffee bitter as regret. Lucas was a carbon copy of Tyler faded. Same tousled blonde hair, same wary green eyes, but etched with the hardness of someone who'd chosen family over blood. He reached out before the end, Lucas said, sliding a creased envelope across the table. Alex's fingers trembled opening it, Tyler's looping script spilling out. If you're reading this, I failed us. But know I loved you fierce, Alex. Build the world we dreamed, without walls. The end hit like a freight train. Tyler had died 2 years prior. Overdose, the family hushed it as accident, burying the queer son in silence. Lucas's voice cracked. They broke him, Alex. Therapy, isolation. I tried to save him, but I was just a kid. Tears blurred the words. Alex's chest caving under grief's delayed avalanche. Why now? Lucas shrugged, eyes haunted. Your story's everywhere. Pride launches, takeovers. He would have been proud. And I need to make it right. For him. Word of the meeting leaked. Brad's parting gift, no doubt, a whisper network still venomous. By noon, tabloids buzzed. Tech mogul's secret tryst ends in tragedy. Reporters swarmed Voss HQ, microphones thrusting like spears. Alex barricaded in his office, Mia arriving with takeout and steel. Breathe, she urged, unpacking falafel wraps. This isn't your shame, it's theirs. But the board wavered, investors jittery, and in the eye of the storm, Eli's innocent question via FaceTime. Uncle Alex sad? Shattered him. He retreated to Mia's that weekend, the apartment a sanctuary of half-finished canvases and Eli's Lego empires. They talked through the night, Tyler's letter open like a map to buried mines. He wanted you free, Mia said, her head on his shoulder. So be that. Inspiration struck then, channel the pain into purpose. Monday, Alex announced the Tyler Hale Foundation, mental health grants for LGBTQ youth, crisis hotlines in every app his company built. The press flipped, from scandal to salvation, but Lucas's involvement stirred old family ghosts, threatening calls, a brick through his car window. The real twist came at the foundation's launch gala, held in the Art Institute's sunlit atrium, sculptures whispering of endurance. Eli, in a tiny tux with rainbow clip-on tie, served as unofficial mascot, charming donors with tales of Alex's bird revolutions. Mia glowed in emerald silk, her latest piece, a portrait of Tyler pieced from news clippings and light, unveiled as the centerpiece. Alex's speech was raw poetry. Tyler didn't lose. He lit the path we walk now. Love isn't erased by endings. It's echoed in every step forward. Applause thundered, but backstage, Lucas pulled Alex aside, face ashen. They're here. Mom and Dad said they'd expose everything unless I shut this down. The Hale patriarchs loomed in the crowd, stiff in suits, eyes like daggers. Mia overheard, fire in her veins. Let them try. Eli's faced worse in kindergarten. United, they confronted the Hales in a quiet alcove, words flying like sparks. You killed him with your hate, Alex accused, voice steel. Mrs. Hale's facade cracked, tears genuine. We were scared. Faith. Expectations. Lucas bridged the chasm. Faith without love is empty. Tyler showed me that. Miraculously, the wall crumbled, not fully, but enough for a truce. The Hales donated anonymously, a first step toward amends. As the gala wound down, Alex danced with Mia under chandeliers, Eli twirling between them. "We're a family now," she murmured, forehead to his. But whispers from the shadows hinted at more. Jenna, thriving in her new role, tipped off about a Harlan holdout plotting a lawsuit. The war wasn't over, it evolved. Winter blanketed Chicago in snow, transforming the city into a hush of white secrets. Alex's routine settled into a rhythm. Dawn runs along the lakefront, board meetings laced with foundation updates, evenings tangled with Mia and Eli in domestic bliss, movie nights with popcorn forts, her sketching while he coded. Yet beneath the calm, tensions simmered. The lawsuit materialized, a class action from ex-Harlan employees claiming hostile environment under Alex's radical changes. Brad's fingerprints all over it, from a consultancy gig in the suburbs. The legal battle drained like a slow bleed, depositions dredging up reunion taunts, old emails unearthed like corpses. Alex testified in a sterile courtroom, voice unwavering as he recounted the slurs, the isolation. Prejudice isn't abstract. It's the boy who couldn't eat lunch alone. Mia sat front row, Eli with a sitter, her presence a lifeline. But the strain showed, sleepless nights, arguments flaring over nothing, his walls creeping back, her fear of losing him to the fight. One blizzard night, holed up in his penthouse, the dam broke. "I can't keep pretending this doesn't scare me," Alex admitted, pacing the floor-to-ceiling windows, city lights blurred by frost. Mia, wrapped in his robe, pulled him down. "Then stop pretending. With me, with us." Vulnerability poured out. Fears of failing Eli like Tyler's family failed him, of the empire crumbling under his queerness. She listened, then shared her own abyss. The ex-husband's custody bid, armed with therapists deeming her unfit for raising a trans child in a non-traditional home. "We're both warriors, Alex. But even warriors need surrender." Their reconciliation was a quiet revolution, therapy sessions together, Eli joining for play therapy doodles. The lawsuit peaked in a marathon trial, twists unfolding like plot threads. A whistleblower from Brad's camp flipped, revealing payoffs. Jenna's testimony dismantled the claims. Victory came swift, settlement in Voss's favor, but the cost lingered in weary bones. Spring heralded renewal, cherry blossoms dusting the parks like confetti. Alex proposed during a picnic at the Lincoln Park Zoo, not with rings, but with a custom app, virtual sketches of their future home, Eli's room a technicolor dream. "Marry me, Mia. Build this life, walls and all." Tears and yes mingled with Eli's cheers. But fate, ever the trickster, dropped a bombshell. Lucas, now family in spirit, revealed he'd been in touch with Tyler's estranged partner from New York, a woman named Riley, trans and tenacious, claiming rights to Tyler's unpublished journals. Riley arrived like a gale, all sharp wit and leather jackets, crashing a family dinner with boxes of yellowed pages. "He wrote about you, Alex. Every breakthrough, every heartbreak." The journals were a time capsule, Tyler's voice leaping off pages, chronicling his escape to California, a quiet life as a set designer, love found with Riley before the darkness reclaimed him. "You were his North Star," she said, voice thick. Grief shared knit them closer, Riley staying on as foundation director, her insights fueling expansions. Yet harmony fractured when Eli's school erupted, a bully's taunt escalating to a shove, the principal's both sides neutrality igniting Mia's fury. "He's not the problem. Your inaction is." Alex, fresh from a merger call, arrived to a standoff, picket lines of parents, one side rainbow flags, the other crosses. He waded in, microphone in hand from a passerby's phone. "This isn't about kids fighting, it's about adults failing. Eli's skirt doesn't threaten your world, your fear does mine." The viral clip shifted tides, donations pouring in, the principal ousted for an ally successor. Summer solstice brought the wedding, a lakeside ceremony at Montrose Beach, waves lapping like applause. Eli as ring bearer, Lucas best man, Riley officiating with rye vows. Love isn't a takeover, it's collaboration. Vows exchanged under a chuppah woven with pride ribbons. Alex's "I do" a vow to all he'd overcome. But as confetti swirled, a final shadow, Brad, uninvited, lurking at the edges, envelope in hand. One last play, Voss. The envelope Brad thrust forward trembled in the summer breeze off Lake Michigan, its contents a venomous cocktail. Forged documents alleging Alex had insider traded during the takeover, timestamps doctored to implicate Mia's brother, a mid-level Harlan exec. Game over, Brad hissed, eyes wild with desperation, his consultancy gig a farce masking unemployment's bite. Alex's wedding tux felt like lead, guests milling unaware, but Mia's grip on his arm was iron. Not today, Brad. Not ever. Security, alerted by Riley's sharp eyes, hauled him away, but the damage festered like an untreated wound. Honeymoon postponed. The couple hunkered in a safe-house Airbnb upstate, Eli oblivious amid board games and esmores. Lawyers swarmed, forensics unraveling the forgeries thread by thread, but media frenzy painted Alex as villain anew. Queer CEO's empire built on lies. Sponsors balked, stock dipped, whispers in boardrooms questioning his distractions, code for his marriage, his queerness. Nights blurred into strategy sessions by firelight, Mia's sketches mapping counterattacks, Alex's code tracing digital footprints back to Brad's laptop. He's unraveling, Alex murmured, tracing her jaw. But so am I. She kissed his temple, fierce. Then unravel with me. Intimacy became their rebellion. Lazy mornings tangled in sheets, Eli's giggles echoing from the kitchen, vows renewed in whispers. Yet doubt crept. A call from Lucas, voice edged. Hills are pulling support. Dad says it's too political. The patriarch's reversal stung, a betrayal echoing Tyler's loss. Alex drove to Milwaukee unannounced, confronting them in their cookie-cutter suburban home, Bible on the mantle like a sentinel. You gave, then took. Want? Mr. Hale's face crumpled, hands wringing. Fear again. Church friends. They called it enabling sin. Mrs. Hale interjected, voice small. But Tyler's journals, we read them. Your family now, son. The olive branch was tentative, funding restored with strings, a private reconciliation retreat. Fall deepened the siege. Brad escalated, leaking sources claiming Alex's foundation laundered funds, lies that ensnared Riley, her trans identity twisted into agenda pushing. Protests erupted outside HQ, counter-protests blooming with queer activists. Eli, shielded at a progressive preschool, drew bad guys versus heroes, his innocence a mirror to Alex's fraying resolve. One rain-lashed evening, after a donor dinner turned shouting match, Alex snapped. I can't do this, Mia. The empire's a noose. She pulled him to the balcony, city lights fracturing through tears. Then cut it. But not alone. Dawn brought pivot. Alex stepped back as CEO, installing a trusted COO, Jenna, risen through ranks on merit and moxie. Lead without me, he told her, voice steady. I'll advise from the shadows. Liberation washed over him. Days freed for foundation fieldwork, visiting shelters, mentoring kids like Eli once was. Brad's end came anticlimactic, arrested for fraud, his laptop a confessional yielding emails, bribes. Courtroom closure was cathartic, Alex testifying not with rage, but pity. You mocked a boy once. Now you're the punchline of your own making. Sentence handed down, probation, restitution, Mia squeezed his hand. Justice, not vengeance. Winter's grip loosened into tentative thaws. The family relocated to a brownstone in Wicker Park, walls alive with Mia's art, Eli's room a portal to wonders. Alex consulted remotely, his true empire the ripples of change, apps saving lives, scholarships blooming futures. But a new conflict brewed, Eli's questions deepening. Why do some people hate us, Uncle Alex? Over hot cocoa, truths unfolded gently. Stories of Tyler, of Brad, of battles won. Hates loud, but loves louder. Spring unearthed buried kin. Riley, digging through Tyler's effects, found letters to an unborn sibling, Tyler's hope for legacy. Lucas confessed, his wife pregnant, the child a bridge to healing. Baptism became a Voss Hale affair, rainbows mingling with crosses in a quiet park, Eli splashing in puddles as vows of unity echoed. Yet prejudice's hydra reared anew. A state bill loomed, banning gender-affirming care for minors, targeting families like Mia's. Eli, now 9, advocated in school plays, his skirt a banner. Alex funneled resources into lobbying, Mia testifying in Springfield, voice thunder. My son isn't a debate, he's a dream. Backlash hit. Hate mail, doxing, a slashed tire outside their home. The crisis peaked at a rally in Daly Plaza, thousands strong under pride flags whipping in wind. Alex spoke, Eli on his shoulders. We're not asking permission to exist, we're demanding space to thrive. Counter-protesters jeered, but a twist. Brad, fresh from community service, in the crowd, not to disrupt, but to apologize. I was wrong. Seeing my kids. It broke me open. Handshake wary, but real, a redemption arc for the ages. Summer sealed bonds. Family vacation to Provincetown, beaches alive with queer joy, Eli body surfing, Mia and Alex renewing vows at sunset, Riley and Lucas toasting with mocktails. Back home, Eli's bar mitzvah, blended traditions, Alex's speech weaving tech parables with Torah wisdom. Code and covenant, both build worlds. Autumn's harvest was Eli's first crush, a classmate, non-binary and nervous, notes passed in art class. Mia and Alex navigated with care, therapy guiding. Love's a sketch, not a blueprint, Mia advised. Alex nodded, heart full. And we're the artists. Winter's Eve, snow falling soft, Alex proposed expansions, global foundation arms, VR empathy sims for schools. Mia, belly rounding with their surprise, sketched the future. From mock to maker, we did it. Eli, asleep with dreams of revolutions, proved the greatest twist, innocence conquering all. The first snowflakes of the season danced outside the brownstone's bay window like hesitant confetti, mirroring the tentative peace that had settled over the Vosreyes household. Eli, now a lanky 10-year-old with Mia's curls and Alex's intensity, hunched over his tablet, coding a simple game where rainbow avatars toppled bias bosses. Watch this, Papa Alex, he crowed, the title a milestone that still warmed Alex's chest like heathfire. Mia, her pregnancy a gentle swell under cozy sweaters, leaned against him on the couch, their fingers intertwined in quiet symphony. But peace, Alex had learned, was a vigilant garden, ever prone to weeds. The state bill had passed narrowly, a gut punch sending ripples through communities, clinics shuttered, families fleeing borders. Eli's school, once a haven, buzzed with anxiety, friends' parents packing U-Hauls, whispers of safe states. At dinner, over Mia's spicy pozole, Eli's fork paused midair. What if they come for us next? Like in the stories you tell. The question hung, innocent blade. Alex met his eyes, steady. They might try, but we don't run, we root deeper. Mia added, voice honey over steel, and we have armies now. Your foundation, the rallies. Eli nodded, but sleep evaded him that night. Nightmares of shadows snatching skirts. Alex sat vigil, rocking him like the infant he'd never held, whispering code-like mantras. Error handled. Reboot stronger. Morning brought alliance. A call from Riley, voice electric. Got a lead, federal challenge brewing. Tyler's journals. Gold for amicus briefs. Emotional testimony that'll gut M. Lucas chimed in, his byline in progressive mags amplifying the fight. The Hales, evolved if uneasy allies, pledged legal funds. Mrs. Hale's knitting circle even sewing protest banners. Jenna, now COO, greenlit company leave for activists. Voss apps tracking bill votes in real time. Yet personal storms gathered. Pregnancy hormones amplified Mia's doubts. Old custody scars reopening. What if I'm not enough? For Eli, for this baby for you? She confessed one dawn light gilding her tears. Alex knelt, hands on her belly feeling the flutter within. You're the core code, Mia. Without you, nothing compiles. Therapy deepened their weave. Couple sessions unpacking his abandonment fears, her perfectionism. Eli joined sporadically, his drawings evolving from battles to bridges. The federal suit launched in a whirlwind presser at the Dirksen building, Alex and Mia flanking Riley as she read from Tyler's pages. Deny care, you deny souls. Cameras flashed, headlines shifted, tech titan turns tables on tyranny. But backlash bayed. Anonymous trolls doxing Eli's school, a pipe bomb scare evacuating HQ. Security tripled, Alex's runs replaced by treadmill marathons, paranoia a shadow companion. A twist uncoiled during discovery. The bill's architect, a Harlan board alum, linked to Brad's network. Subpoenas flew, depositions dredging corporate closets, homophobic emails, discriminatory hires. Jenna's cross-exam was masterful. Her rise from enabler to enforcer a narrative arc. We evolved, she declared. Or we extinct. Spring thaws coincided with trial openings. Chicago's magnolias blooming defiant. Eli, homeschooled temporarily, thrived in virtual pods with queer kids nationwide. His game prototyped into a foundation tool, teaching allyship through play. Level up against hate, he grinned. Mia's due date loomed, a beacon amid briefs. Labor hit like lightning mid-recess, contractions syncing with closing arguments. Alex, in scrubs at Prentice Hospital, held her hand as Riley testified downtown. Tyler's light dimmed by denial. Don't eclipse the next. Baby arrived at dusk. A girl, Sophia Rezvas, tiny fists punching air like protests. Mia, exhausted radiant, cradled her. Our fighter. Eli peered, awestruck. She looks like a superhero. Victory echoed days later. Injunction granted, bill stalled. Celebrations spilled into streets, pride flags waving like victory banners. But quiet reckonings followed. Hales visiting the newborn, awkward coups bridging chasms. Lucas's wife birthed a boy, cousins in spirit, family photos a mosaic of mended fractures. Summer's heat wave tested resilience. Sophia's colic synced with investor jitters. Post-trial, stocks wobbled on activist risk. Eli's crush blossomed awkwardly, a school dance invite, nerves fraying. Alex coached suit fittings, dad jokes masking his own prom phantoms. Dance like no one's mocking. The night ended in tears, rejection, cruel whispers, but Mia's embrace, Alex's ice cream run, wove resilience. First-level kid. Boss fights later. Autumn winds carried expansion. Foundation satellites in Atlanta, Louisiana, global via app. Riley's wedding to a poetess, Alex officiating with Tyler's ring as token. Vows echoed his own. In shadows and spotlights, we shine. Winter solstice, snow globe world, family gathered. Hales, Lucas clan, Jenna toasting. Sophia's first laugh tinkled like bells. Eli's game launching to acclaim. But a letter arrived, postmarked Tyler's old zip. Unpublished poems, gifted by Riley. For the words he couldn't say. Reading by firelight, Alex wept, grief's final wave. Mia held him, Sophia nursing soft. He's here in us. Eli added, in the code too. Peace, earned, enveloped. Yet dawn's light hinted horizons. A Senate-run rumor for allies. Eli's teen years looming. Alex smiled, Mia's head on his shoulder. Ready for sequels? Sophia's gurgles filled the brownstone like a soundtrack to reinvention, her chubby hands grasping at the rainbow mobile dangling above her crib. A creation from Eli's 3D printer, pixels made plush. 2 years had sculpted the family into a unit unbreakable. Chicago's rhythms their backdrop. Lake breezes carrying laughter from playgrounds. L trains rumbling past like distant applause. Alex, unshackled from CEO chains, thrived as visionary. Keynotes at TEDx on queer innovation. Foundation grants seeding startups by marginalized makers. Mia's studio overflowed with commissions. Her Wombs series touring museums. Spotlights on narratives long silenced. Eli, 12 and all limbs, navigated middle school mazes. Debate club dismantling bigotries. Soccer team allying against slurs. Captain says I'm MVP for heart. He'd boast. Cleats muddy. But undercurrents stirred, national tides shifting, a new administration promising traditional values, whispers of rolled-back protections. The first tremor hit at a family barbecue in Jackson Park, grills smoking under July sun. Lucas, toddler on hip, pulled Alex aside. Heard rumblings, federal probes into woke nonprofits. Your foundation's on lists. Alex's fork paused over ribs, sauce tangy as unease. Political hit. Lucas nodded, eyes shadowed. Hill's church crowd pushing. Even after everything. Mia overheard, her artist's intuition sharp. We diversify. Offshore arms. Blockchain for transparency. Sophia, teething on a teether, babbled agreement. Eli, tossing frisbee with cousins, since the shift. Bad guys again. Alex ruffled his hair. Always. But we level up. Response coalesced swift. Audits voluntary, partnerships with international NGOs. Jenna, COO Titan, fortified corporate firewalls. Voss now a B Corp beacon, profits pledged to progress. Riley, ever the firebrand, rallied media. Op-eds eviscerating probes as queer witch hunts. The Hales wavered. Mr. Hales calls apologetic. Prayer chains for clarity. But Mrs. Hales sent quilts, embroidered with love endures. A deeper twist unraveled at Eli's bat mitzvah, synagogue aglow with candles and kin. His Torah portion on exile and return resonated, voice steady. We wander, but we witness. Post-ceremony, a stranger approached, tall, bespectacled, introducing as Dr. Lena Voss. Distant cousin, from the German branch. Saw your speech online. Family lore says our line's full of fighters. DNA kits confirmed. A great-aunt thrice removed, Holocaust survivor, whose diaries chronicled hidden loves and shadows. Lena's arrival was catalyst, retired historian. She unpacked Voss archives. Letters of queer kin suppressed, inventions credited to straight proxies. Your empire's roots run deeper than steel, she said over tea, Sophia on her lap. Collaborating, they launched Echo's Archive, digital vaults preserving stories, VR tours of hidden histories. Eli coded interfaces, Mia illustrated portals. But probes intensified, IRS agents combing ledgers, headlines sneering taxpayer funds for agenda. Protests swelled outside foundation offices, counterswarms of supporters clashing. One night, glass shattered, a Molotov glancing the lobby, flames licking banners. Firefighters doused, but trauma lingered. Eli's nightmares reignited, Sophia's cries piercing nights. Alex, pacing war rooms, felt fractures. Am I cursing them with this fight? Mia, bandaging a volunteer's cut, shot back. Or blessing with purpose? Therapy circles widened. Group sessions for staff, Eli journaling fears into fiction. Riley's poetry slams became therapy. Burn the labels, we rise from ash. The raid came dawn, suits swarming the brownstone, warrants for irregular donations. Alex, in boxers, shielded family as agents rifled drawers. Mia, fierce in robe, filmed, This is America? Viral outrage erupted, celebs amplifying, senators decrying overreach. Twists piled, leaker unmasked as a Hales associate, coerced confessions toppling the probe's architect. Victory tasted bittersweet, dismissals, apologies hollow. Lena's gift, a locket from great-aunt, engraved defies silence. Alex wore it, talisman against tides. False foliage framed expansions, Echoes launching at Smithsonian, global downloads surging. Eli's first published story, fanfic of their lives, heroes queering quests, earned Junior Lit Awards. Sophia's first steps toward rainbows sewn on onesies. Winter holidays blended traditions. Hanukkah lax with tamales, Hales joining tentatively, toasts to bridges, not walls. Lucas's family swelled, playdates chaotic joy. Spring bloomed scandals anew. Administration insider, Harlan Ghost, outed in affair, hypocrisy exploding. Alex's interview, poised, glass houses, stone throws. Polls shifted, midterms flipping seats. Summer road trip west, Yellowstone geysers mirroring upheavals, Eli mapping stars, Mia sketching horizons, Sophia babbling brooks. Campfire tales wove pasts, Tyler's poems recited, Brad's redemption letter read aloud, community service turned advocate. Back, Eli's crush evolved, mutual now, awkward handholds at dances. Alex chaperoned, heart swelling. Love's beta test, bugs and all. Autumn's equinox, foundation gala. Lena keynoting, Riley emceeing, Jenna unveiling solar-powered queer centers. Eli DJ'd, Sophia danced in Mia's arms. Winter's cusp, snow whispering secrets. Alex proposed board evolution, youth seats, Eli nominating peers. Mia, sketching legacy, murmured, from failure to family, we scripted the stars. The ink on the Foundation's charter amendments was barely dry when the next gale force twist-barreled in, unannounced and unrelenting. Eli, 14 and towering with adolescent awkwardness, burst through the brownstone door one crisp October afternoon, backpack slung low, face a storm cloud. They suspended me, Dad. The word dad for Alex was still a gift unwrapped yearly, but today it landed heavy. Mia, elbow deep in clay at her wheel, froze. Sophia, 3 and fearless, toddled over with a wooden spoon like a scepter. Suspended for what? Eli slumped at the kitchen island, words tumbling. A debate club clash, his argument for trans rights in sports met with a classmate's slur, escalating to shoved chairs. The principal, new but spineless, cited disruption over the aggressor's opinion. Alex's blood simmered, old locker room echoes ringing. We'll appeal. Mia, call the lawyers. But Eli's eyes, Mia's eyes, held deeper hurt. It's not just that. They said, I'm turning the school political. Like me being me is a crime. The appeal hearing was a microcosm of broader wars. School board chambers stuffy with parents' perfumes and prejudices, rainbow pins clashing with crossed arms. Alex testified, voice measured. Eli's voice is his right. Silencing it teaches surrender. Mia's artwork, projected, portraits of silenced youth, hung like indictments. Lena, via Zoom from Berlin archives, lent gravitas. History warns. Mute the margins, invite the abyss. Victory, suspension lifted, sensitivity training mandated. But Eli's trust fractured, friendships iced. Winter wrapped the wound in woolens and wonders. Sophia's preschool pageant. Her role as Rainbow Tree, eliciting giggles. Family ski trip to Wisconsin. Lena joining for strudel and stories of Voss exiles in 1930s Berlin. Around the lodge fire, Eli opened up. I feel like Tyler sometimes. Like the world's waiting to snuff me out. Alex pulled him close, locket glinting. But you burn brighter. Code your path, unextinguishable. Spring unfurled petals of progress. Eli's story collection published, proceeds to echoes. Foundation's VR Sims adopted in curricula, empathy metrics soaring. Riley's book, Tyler's poems curated. Topped indie charts, tours packing houses. Jenna's keynote at Davos. Queer capital builds resilient economies. Hale's evolved fully. Mr. Hale volunteering at shelters, his sermons weaving inclusion. Yet some are scorched with systemic fire. National healthcare rollback loomed, gender care carved out anew. Clinics picketed, providers fleeing. Mia, Sophia on hip, joined blockades. Alex funded legal bulwarks. Eli, interning at Foundation, livestream testimonies. This isn't policy, it's parents' panic. The personal pivot came mid-July, a call from Brad, voicemail halting. Voss, it's, I need help. Cancer. Stage 4. No one else. Shock rippled. Mia advocated response. Redemption's arc bends toward grace. They met in a sterile oncology suite, Brad shrunken, IVs like vines. I hated you because I hated me, he rasped. Wife left, kids estranged. Your life's what I could have had. Alex, throat tight, offered. Hospice through Foundation. And talks, with your kids, if they want. Brad's decline was a quiet haunting. Visits with Eli reluctant, then raw. You were right to fight me. His passing in autumn leaves turning, funeral sparse but attended. Alex eulogizing. Enemies teach mercy. Jenna closed Harlan's old files, a chapter sealed. Fall's harvest moon lit Eli's Quincean era. Blended bash, skirt optional, guest a tapestry. Lucas's teens, Riley's circle, Hale's kin. Eli danced with his partner, non-binary and neurospicy, steps synced. Love's algorithm, he quipped. Sophia, flower girl fierce, scattered petals like spells. Winter's hush brought bounty. Sophia's first poem, scribbled. Colors don't clash, they crash into rainbows. Mia's mural commission, City Hall Pride Wall. Alex's memoir ghosted, title from mocked to mosaic. But tides turned treacherous. Administration's final gasp, executive order targeting activist, visas, Lena's renewal denied. Rally in D.C., family caravanning, chants echoing Lincoln Memorial. Eli's sign, build bridges, not bands. Arrests loomed, but solidarity swelled. Senators intervening, order rescinded amid scandals. Spring's renewal, Lena naturalized, archives digitized fully. Eli's college apps, MIT for coding justice. Sophia's kindergarten debut, skirt and all. Summer solstice wedding, Riley's renewal, Alex and Mia renewing too, beachside with waves as witnesses. Vows, through twists and triumphs, tethered. Autumn equinox, Eli's acceptance letter, scholarship for queer innovators. Tears and toasts. Winter's eve, snow globe spinning, family encircled, stories swapped, futures sketched. Alex, Mia's hand in his, Sophia on lap, Eli strumming guitar, legacy not endpoint, but endless code. From reunions ridiculed to this radiant now, the narrative arced, love's logic, unyielding.